Picture this, it's one of those slow mornings where the light through the curtains is soft, warm, and just a little too comfortable. You're not ready to move yet. Your pillow still feels perfect, and your mind is drifting in that fuzzy space between dreams and reality. You reach for your phone, half out of habit, half because it's the easiest way to avoid getting up. The screen lights up, and you start scrolling through your feed without even thinking about it. It's the same as always: pictures, ads, random news, a friend posting about their breakfast, a couple of videos you'll probably watch for 5 seconds before skipping. Your eyes are moving, but your brain is still on autopilot. And then it happens. One headline jumps out from the blur. Just a few words, short and sharp, but somehow they cut through everything else. You blink. Did you read that right? You scroll back up just to check. And there it is, clear as day. Johnny Depp. His name is right there in bold, tied to something so unexpected that you actually feel more awake. You read it again, slower this time, and your mind starts racing. Wait, if this is true, then. It's one of those moments where the world just pauses for a second. You know that feeling? You're holding your phone, but your thoughts are already 10 steps ahead, trying to piece it together. Now put yourself in Amber Heard's shoes for a moment. You've stepped out of the spotlight. You've told yourself that whole chapter is over. Maybe you've even convinced yourself you don't think about it anymore. And then, out of nowhere, bam, this headline is staring back at you. The kind of headline you can't unsee. It's not just an update. It's a shift. It's a plot twist you didn't see coming. And for a split second, whether you want to admit it or not, you're wondering, how did this happen? And the thing is, this isn't the usual Hollywood gossip. It's not about a new outfit on a red carpet or a blurry photo snapped outside a restaurant. No anonymous sources claiming something vague. This is different. Bigger. This is the kind of story that forces people to reframe the way they talk about someone. The kind of story that makes even people who don't usually care about celebrity news sit up and take notice. So the obvious questions start bubbling up: what exactly happened? How did he make this happen? Why does it feel like such a game changer? The truth is, stories like this never appear out of thin air. You have to go back, way back, to understand why this one hits the way it does. Think about those years. You remember them. Everyone does. It was impossible not to. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, their names seemed permanently glued to every entertainment headline, every trending list. Court battles dragged on for months. Every testimony, every piece of evidence, every little detail became public property. Social media turned into a war zone. People weren't just following the story, they were living in it. They were choosing sides, arguing with strangers online, sometimes even with friends. It didn't feel like just another celebrity drama. It was bigger than that. For a while, it became a cultural flashpoint. Everywhere you turned, the news, talk shows, even casual conversations, there it was. And then, finally, the storm began to lose its force. The trials ended. The loudest voices online started to quiet down. New stories took over the spotlight. And little by little, it faded from the front page. But while the rest of the world moved on to the next drama, Johnny didn't just fade away. He went quiet. But not the kind of quiet where you disappear because you're done. Not the quiet of defeat. This was a different kind of quiet. The kind you hear before the drop in a song. The kind that hums with something unspoken, because you know there's movement behind the curtain. It's the quiet of planning. Of building. Of waiting for the exact right moment. No interviews to defend himself. No desperate PR stunts. Just nothing. And then, when people least expected it, when the world had filed him away in a box labeled "Past Controversies," the news drops. It's official, Johnny Depp isn't just making a comeback. He's making the comeback. Not some cautious, testing the waters role in a forgettable project. No. This is the kind of move that feels like planting a flag and saying, I'm back, and I'm not playing small. Big deals. Bold choices. Projects that remind people exactly why his name once meant box office magic. And here's the kicker, it's not just about movies. Because if you've been paying attention to his career, you know Johnny has never been just an actor. Acting is just one part of what he does. He's a musician, a painter, a storyteller, a restless creative who's always exploring new ways to express himself. And this new chapter? It's a fusion of all those parts. It's not just a job. It's something that feels like him. Something with fingerprints all over it. And when the news broke, the internet went into overdrive. Fans who'd stood by him were celebrating like it was their own victory. Hashtags started trending in minutes. And even people who'd kept their distance, who maybe didn't root for him before, had to pause and admit, okay, that's impressive. But here's the part one think most people miss, this moment wasn't about proving anything to Amber, or even to his critics. It was about proving something to himself. That he could take the hits, disappear from the noise, and still come back stronger. Most people see the headline and think that's the whole story. But a move like this? It doesn't happen in weeks or months. It's the result of years of quiet work. While the public was busy replaying courtroom clips, Johnny was laying down pieces of something bigger. Choosing carefully. Waiting for the moment when the world wasn't looking, so that when he stepped forward, it wouldn't be as the same man they remembered, but as someone new. It's a strategy that a lot of people don't have the patience for. Because when you've been through something public and painful, the instinct is to fight back immediately, to set the record straight in the moment. But sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is let the dust settle. Let people stop looking. And then, when no one's expecting it, you drop something they can't ignore. That's what a real comeback looks like. Not loud declarations. Not empty promises. Results. Work so undeniable that even your biggest critics have to take a step back and say, all right. I see it. And maybe that's why this feels like such a shock. Not because people thought Johnny couldn't come back, but because they didn't imagine it would be like this. This doesn't feel like the end of a story. It feels like the start of a whole new book. And if this is just chapter 1, then what's coming next might be even bigger. Now imagine being Amber again. Your phone lights up. You see that headline. Even if you've convinced yourself you're past it all, for just a split second, you remember. And maybe you realize that this isn't the same man from before. He's not just back, he's back on his own terms. That's the quiet power of a moment like this. It's not just about the person in the headline. It's about everyone watching. Because deep down, we all know what this is, it's not revenge. It's not gloating. It's something much more satisfying. It's the knowledge that you can be knocked down, counted out, written off, and still come back with something worth talking about. And that's why it resonates. Not because of what it means for Amber. Not even because of what it means for Hollywood. But because it's a reminder for anyone who's ever been underestimated that you can rewrite the ending. So let me ask you. If you were in Johnny's position, what would you do? Would you keep it low-key, building in the shadows until you were ready to shock the world? Or would you go big from the start, making sure everyone knew your comeback was coming? No matter your answer, one thing is certain, this won't be the last headline with his name in it. And something tells me, the next one might make this look small.